Self-improvement might be ruining your life, and you probably don't even realize it. From the outside, you're doing everything right. You wake up early, or at least you try to. You make lists, you track your habits, you watch productivity videos. You tell yourself you're going to be disciplined, focused, and different from everyone else who's wasting their time. So, how could that possibly be a bad thing? Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest. When was the last time you actually felt satisfied? Not proud for a second, not relieved for a moment, not happy because you finally crossed something off your to-do list. I mean, genuinely, deeply, quietly satisfied. Like the feeling of a full stomach after a good meal, or the warmth of sunlight on your face with nowhere to go. If you're honest with yourself, it's probably been a while. I'm John, and I used to think I was winning at life because I was always trying to win. But trying and living are not the same thing. The what's next disease. Here's what happens. You finish something. A workout, a study session, a project, and instead of feeling good about it, your brain... You spend a productive day and somehow still feel behind. Like there's a ghost version of you out there, a better, harder working version, and you're constantly failing to catch up. And that's where the trap starts. Not in failure, not in laziness, but in the growing feeling that nothing you do is ever enough. The scary part? That feeling gets worse the more you try to improve. Because now you know what you could be doing. You've seen the videos, you've read the posts, you know about the 5 a.m. club, the deep work sessions, the side hustles, the optimized morning routines. So every time you're not doing those things, it feels like you're wasting your life. The guilt of being human. You're sitting there watching a YouTube video, just relaxing. And instead of enjoying it, your brain goes, you should be working. You should be building something. You're falling behind. You go hang out with your friends, but instead of being present, you're thinking, this is a waste of time. I could be learning a skill right now. They don't get it. You take a break, a real break, and it doesn't feel like a break. It feels like guilt, like you're stealing time from your future self. No one tells you this part, because online, self-improvement is sold as this perfect glossy life. Wake up early, stay locked in, be better than everyone else, crush your goals. The videos show a person smiling after a workout, sipping a green smoothie, checking off their to-do list with a satisfied sigh. What they don't show you is what it does to your mind behind the scenes. When life becomes a project. Slowly, without noticing, you stop living your life. You start managing it. Everything becomes calculated, optimized, measured. You're either winning or failing at every tiny thing. You open your phone for 5 minutes just to scroll, and suddenly it's, I'm wasting time. I'm being undisciplined. You skip one day at the gym because you're tired, and suddenly it's, I'm losing progress. I'm going to lose everything I built. You don't feel motivated one morning, and suddenly it's, I'm falling behind everyone else. Everyone else is grinding. What's wrong with me? And here's the kicker. This isn't because you're lazy. It's because your standards keep moving. The shifting goalpost. There's this idea floating around that if you just push harder, if you just become more disciplined, more focused, more efficient, then everything will finally feel right. You'll finally feel like you've made it. You'll finally be able to rest. But here's what actually happens. You reach a new level. You achieve something that would have amazed you a year ago, and your brain immediately normalizes it. What used to feel like progress now feels like the bare minimum. The bar isn't just higher, it's moved entirely. Now you need more. You need the next level, and the next, and the next. I once heard a quote that stuck in my chest like a splinter. The problem with always chasing the next level is that you forget you already leveled up. That's it. That's the whole trap. You're not actually unhappy with your life. You've just trained yourself to only see what's missing. Think about it. A year ago, the things you do right now, the habits, the skills, the consistency, would have genuinely impressed you. You would have looked at your current self and thought, wow, they've got it together. But today, those same things mean nothing to you. They feel like the starting line. And that's not growth. That's pressure. The isolation nobody talks about. Another thing people don't mention is how self-improvement changes the way you see other people. You start judging. Not out loud, maybe, but inside. You see people partying on a Friday night, and instead of thinking, that's just not for me, you think they're wasting their lives. They have no vision. You see someone relaxing, watching TV, doing nothing productive, and your brain whispers, they have no discipline. They'll never make it. And slowly, you isolate yourself. Not physically. You're still around people. But mentally. Because now you feel like you're on a different path. A higher path. A more serious path. And maybe you are. But that doesn't mean everyone else is wrong. The dangerous part is when your entire identity gets built around improving. When you're no longer John, the person who likes music or tacos or stupid jokes. You're just someone who's grinding. And if you're not improving, you feel like you're losing yourself. That's why some people burn out. Not because they're weak, not because they don't want it enough, but because they never allowed themselves to just exist. Every moment had to be optimized. Every breath had to be productive. The quote that changed my perspective, another quote that stuck with me, you can't turn your whole life into a project and expect to enjoy it. Read that again. You've turned your life into something you constantly need to fix. Your sleep needs fixing. Your focus needs fixing. Your body needs fixing. Your habits need fixing. Your mindset needs fixing. There's always something wrong. Always something to optimize. Always a gap between where you are and where you should be. But here's the truth no one tells you. You don't need to hate your current life to build a better one. You don't need to feel behind to move forward. You don't need to feel guilty about rest to deserve it. You don't need to optimize every second to be successful. Because if your entire life feels like something you need to escape from, even if you improve it, even if you hit all your goals, you'll still feel the same. The destination will arrive and you'll be standing there, empty, wondering why you're not happy. That's why some people achieve their goals and still feel hollow. They thought the goal would fix the feeling. But the feeling was never about the goal. It was about how they saw themselves the entire time. As not enough. As broken. As a project waiting to be completed. What I'm not saying? Now, let me be very clear. I'm not saying stop improving. That's not the point. You should still work hard. Build discipline. Learn new skills. Chase things that matter to you. But there's a massive difference between I want to get better and I'm not enough unless I get better. One builds you. The other slowly destroys you. Because one comes from growth, from curiosity, from excitement, from a genuine desire to see what you can become. The other comes from pressure, from fear, from inadequacy, from the belief that you are currently unacceptable. And pressure doesn't last. Eventually, it breaks you. The real thing you need to fix? So, yeah, self-improvement isn't ruining your life. But the way most people are doing it, kinda is. They're chasing a version of themselves that always stays out of reach. Not because it's impossible, but because the goalpost keeps moving every time they get close. They're turning their life into something they constantly need to fix, forgetting that a life isn't a to-do list. It's not a series of checkboxes. It's the messy, unoptimized, unproductive moments too. The laughter, the boredom, the walks with no destination, the conversations that don't lead anywhere.
If you're watching this or reading this and you feel like you're doing everything right, but still don't feel good, here's the hard truth. You've been taught that you're never allowed to feel like you've done enough. The algorithms, the influencers, the culture of hustle, they profit from your dissatisfaction. If you ever felt satisfied, you'd stop scrolling. You'd stop buying courses. You'd stop chasing. And maybe, just maybe, that's the thing you really need to fix. Not your productivity, not your discipline, not your morning routine, but your permission to be enough. Right now, before the next goal, before the next level, before the next version of you that you're still waiting to become. Because that version, they're going to feel the exact same way, unless you change the lens.